A silent night in the lost city of Machu Picchu, a meditative bedtime journey in 5 chapters. Chapter 20. The hidden path through the mountains. You find yourself standing at the edge of a narrow stone path, carved into the mountainside centuries ago by hands that knew these peaks as sacred. The golden light of the setting sun bathes everything in warmth, casting long shadows that dance gently across the ancient stones beneath your feet. The air here is thin and crisp, filled with the scent of mountain herbs and distant rain clouds. You take a slow, deep breath, feeling the coolness fill your lungs as you begin to walk along this hidden trail. Each step you take follows in the footsteps of countless others who have walked this same path, their presence still lingering in the worn smooth stones. Above you, the peaks of the Andes rise like sleeping giants, their snow-capped summits catching the last rays of sunlight and holding them like precious jewels. The mountains seem to whisper secrets to one another across the valleys, secrets carried on the gentle evening breeze that now caresses your face. As you continue walking, you notice how the path curves naturally with the contours of the mountain, never fighting against the stone, but flowing with it like water. The ancient builders understood something profound about harmony, about working with the earth rather than against it. And you can feel this wisdom in every carefully placed stone. The trail leads you through a grove of ancient trees, their gnarled branches reaching skyward like prayers. Their leaves rustle softly in the mountain air, creating a gentle symphony that seems to welcome you, to invite you deeper into this sacred space. Shafts of golden light filter through the canopy, creating patterns of light and shadow that shift and dance as you pass beneath. You pause for a moment, resting your hand against the rough bark of one of these ancient sentinels, feeling the slow, steady pulse of life within. These trees have stood here for hundreds of years, witnessing the rise and fall of civilizations, the changing of seasons, the endless cycle of day and night. Yet they remain, patient and enduring, rooted deep in the mountain soil. The path begins to climb more steeply now, winding upward through terraced gardens that have long since returned to wild beauty. Stone walls that once held carefully tended crops now cradle wildflowers and mountain grasses. Nature has reclaimed these spaces, but gently, respectfully, as if honoring the human hands that once worked this soil. You can see where water once flowed through carefully engineered channels, bringing life to these mountain gardens. The engineering is subtle but brilliant, working with gravity and the natural flow of the land. Even now, centuries later, you can trace the gentle curves of these waterways, imagining the sound of clear mountain water bubbling through the stone channels. As you climb higher, the air grows even thinner, but somehow more pure. Each breath feels cleaner, clearer, as if you're breathing the very essence of the mountains themselves. The physical effort of climbing becomes meditative, each step a conscious choice, each breath a moment of awareness. The golden light of sunset begins to deepen, taking on the rich amber tones of honey. The mountains around you seem to glow from within, as if lit by some inner fire. The peaks catch and hold this light, reflecting it back and forth between their faces, creating a cathedral of natural beauty that stretches as far as the eye can see. You notice small details along the path. Now, tiny flowers growing in cracks between the stones. Their delicate petals, somehow thriving in this harsh mountain environment. Butterflies with wings like stained glass flutter among the wildflowers, their movements creating brief flashes of color against the weathered stone. The sound of your footsteps creates a gentle rhythm, a soft padding against the ancient stones. This rhythm becomes like a heartbeat, steady and reassuring, connecting you to the mountain, to the path, to all those who have walked here before. You feel yourself becoming part of this ancient rhythm, part of the mountain's slow, eternal dance. Ahead, you can see where the path curves around a natural stone outcropping. Beyond this curve, something waits, something magnificent and mysterious. You can sense it even though you cannot yet see it. The very air seems to vibrate with anticipation, with the presence of something sacred just out of sight. As you approach the curve in the path, you notice how the quality of light begins to change, becoming softer, more diffused, as if filtered through invisible veils. The air carries new scents now, the clean smell of stone warmed by sun, the green fragrance of terraced gardens, and something else, something indefinable but unmistakably ancient. You pause at the curve, taking a moment to appreciate this threshold, this moment between not knowing and knowing, between anticipation and revelation. The mountain breeze stirs around you, gentle but insistent, encouraging you forward, inviting you to take the next step on this journey into mystery. The stones beneath your feet seem to pulse with energy, as if they remember all the footsteps they have supported, all the journeys they have witnessed. You feel connected to this long chain of travelers, part of an endless procession of seekers drawn to this sacred place, each bringing their own hopes, their own need for peace and understanding. As the sun sinks lower toward the horizon, the light takes on an even richer quality, painting everything in shades of gold and amber and deep orange. The mountains seem to breathe with this light, expanding and contracting gently, as if the entire landscape is alive, aware, welcoming. You take another step forward, and another, feeling the ancient stones support you, guide you. The path seems to know where it's going, even if you do not. And there's comfort in this, in surrendering to the wisdom of those who carved this trail centuries ago, trusting in their understanding of the mountain, of the journey. The curve in the path reveals itself gradually, like a secret being slowly shared. Each step brings new perspectives, new angles of vision. The mountain reveals itself piece by piece, stone by stone, never overwhelming, always inviting, always peaceful. You realize that the journey itself has become a meditation, a moving prayer. Each footstep is an offering, each breath a moment of gratitude. The physical act of walking has become something deeper, a communion with the mountain, with the ancient wisdom that still lives in these stones. The light continues to deepen and soften, creating an atmosphere of profound peace. The harsh edges of the day begin to blur and soften, giving way to the gentler energies of evening, of rest, of reflection. This is a time for slowing down, for allowing the deeper rhythms of the earth to guide your steps. As you round the curve, you feel something shifting, some change in the energy around you. The very air seems to hold its breath, waiting. The mountain seems to lean in closer, as if preparing to share one of its greatest secrets. And you, walking slowly along this ancient path, feel ready to receive whatever gift awaits. The path continues onward, winding deeper into the mountains, carrying you toward whatever lies ahead. Your footsteps maintain their gentle rhythm. Your breathing remains slow and steady. You are no longer just walking along a mountain path. You are participating in something timeless, something sacred, something that connects you to the very heart of these ancient peaks. And so you continue, one step at a time, breathing in the mountain air, feeling the warm stones beneath your feet, allowing yourself to be carried forward by the ancient wisdom of this place, trusting in the journey, trusting in the path, trusting in the profound peace that seems to emanate from every stone, every tree, every blade of grass along this sacred way. The golden light continues to bathe everything in its warm embrace, and you, walking slowly through this cathedral of stone and sky, feel your own inner light beginning to respond, beginning to glow with the same gentle radiance that surrounds you. This is the magic of this place, the way it calls forth the sacred within, the way it reminds you of your own connection to something vast and beautiful and eternal. Chapter 2, First Glimpse of Machu Picchu. As you complete the gentle curve in the mountain path, something extraordinary begins to emerge from the morning mist that clings to the peaks around you. At first, it's just a suggestion, a shadow within shadows. But as you take another slow step forward, the mist begins to part, like curtains being drawn back to reveal the stage for some cosmic performance. There, rising from the mountain ridges, as if grown from the living rock itself, are the first stone walls of Machu Picchu. They appear so naturally, so organically, that for a moment you wonder if you're seeing an illusion, a trick of light and shadow. But no, these are real stones, placed by human hands centuries ago, yet so perfectly integrated with the landscape that they seem to have always been here. The mist continues to lift and swirl, revealing more of the ancient city piece by piece. Like a slow revelation, a gradual awakening, stone terraces cascade down the mountainside like frozen waterfalls, their edges softened by time and weather until they seem to flow with the natural contours of the earth. Each terrace follows the curve of the mountain, creating a harmony between human architecture and divine landscape that takes your breath away. You stand perfectly still, afraid that any sudden movement might cause this vision to dissolve back into mist and dream. The silence here is profound, not empty, but full, pregnant with the whispers of centuries. The only sound is the gentle susurrus of wind through the mountain grasses and the distant call of an Andean bird echoing across the valleys. The stones themselves seem to glow with an inner light, warmed by countless sunrises, cooled by infinite starlit nights. Each block has been shaped and fitted with such precision that not even a knife blade could slip between them. Yet there's nothing rigid or harsh about these walls. They curve and flow, following natural principles that the ancient builders understood in their bones. As the mist continues its slow retreat, more details emerge. Windows and doorways appear like dark eyes opening after a long sleep. Perfectly trapezoidal openings that have framed views of these sacred mountains for half a millennium. Through these openings, you can see glimpses of courtyards and chambers, spaces that once hummed with daily life, but now rest in perfect silence. The main plaza begins to reveal itself, a vast expanse of grass-covered terraces rising in gentle steps toward the peak called Machu Picchu. This towering sentinel stands guard over the ancient city, its rocky face stern but benevolent, like an ancient grandfather watching over sleeping children. The plaza feels like a natural amphitheater, designed for ceremonies and gatherings that honored the movement of sun and stars. You take another slow step forward, then another, drawn by an invisible thread toward this miracle of stone and sky. The path beneath your feet is original, worn smooth by countless pilgrims and travelers, each step connecting you to all who have walked here before. The very stones remember these footfalls, holding them like memories in their crystalline structure. The buildings rise in perfect harmony with the mountain peaks behind them, their roof lines echoing the angles of the ridges, their stones the same gray, green as the cliff faces. It's as if the city grew from the mountain itself, as natural as flowers blooming from soil. This is architecture as poetry, a building as prayer, stone shaped by hands that understood the sacred geometry of the natural world. A gentle breeze stirs across the terraces, carrying with it the scent of wild orchids and mountain herbs. The air shimmers slightly in the morning light, creating an almost ethereal quality that makes the entire scene seem to exist in some realm between earth and heaven. You breathe deeply, tasting the thin, pure air that has blown across these peaks for millennia. The mist now clings only to the highest peaks, releasing its hold on the city like a blessing being lifted. In the growing clarity, you can see the incredible sophistication of the water management system. Channels carved into solid rock, carrying spring water through the city in an endless circulation that once supported gardens and fountains and the daily life of the inhabitants. Every angle, every perspective reveals new wonders. The way morning shadows fall across the terraces creates patterns that shift and change with the sun's movement, turning the entire city into a vast sundial, a cosmic calendar carved in stone. The ancient astronomers who designed this place understood something profound about the relationship between earth and sky, between human consciousness and celestial cycles. You notice how certain buildings are aligned with astronomical phenomena, their windows and doorways positioned to frame the rising sun on solstices, to capture moonbeams on sacred nights, to honor the movements of Venus and the Southern Cross. This is not just architecture. It's a three-dimensional representation of cosmic harmony, a built environment designed to keep its inhabitants in tune with the greater rhythms of the universe. The silence deepens as you stand there, but it's not an empty silence. It's full of presence, of memory, of all the prayers and ceremonies and daily activities that once filled these spaces. You can almost hear echoes of ancient voices, children playing in the courtyards, priests chanting in the temples, the soft footfalls of daily life on these same stone pathways. As you continue to gaze upon this marvel, you begin to understand why the Spanish conquistadors never found this place. It's not just hidden by its remote location. It's protected by something deeper, by its perfect integration with the natural world, by the way it honors, rather than dominates the landscape. The city doesn't sit on the mountain. It participates in it, becomes part of its living essence. The sun climbs higher now, burning away the last wisps of mist, and Machu Picchu stands revealed in all its glory. Every stone seems to sing in the clear mountain light. Every terrace seems to breathe with the rhythm of the earth itself. The grass covering the plaza glows green as emeralds, and the gray stones warm to gold in the strengthening sunlight. You realize that you're witnessing something that exists outside of ordinary time. This city has waited here through centuries of abandonment, through the rise and fall of empires, through countless seasons of rain and sun and snow, yet it remains patient and eternal, a testament to humanity's ability to create in harmony with the divine forces that shape our world. The temperature is perfect here, the mountain air cool enough to refresh, warm enough to comfort. You feel as if you could stand here forever, drinking in the beauty, allowing your soul to expand to match the grandeur of the vista before you. This is a place where the veil between ordinary consciousness and the sacred grows thin, where the eternal makes itself known through stone and sky and silence. Birds begin to appear, Andean swifts and mountain caracaras, their cries echoing off the stone walls like calls from another world. They seem to welcome you. These creatures who have made their homes among the ruins, who have witnessed the daily miracle of sunrise over these peaks for countless generations. Their presence adds life to the ancient stones, reminding you that this is not just a monument to the past, but a living part of the mountain ecosystem. The play of light and shadow across the terraces creates an ever-changing mandala of beauty. Patterns that shift with each passing moment, each angle of the sun. This is living architecture, responsive to the cosmic dance of earth and sky. Designed by builders who understood that true art must breathe with the rhythms of nature. As you stand there, absorbing the majesty of this place, you feel something shifting within yourself, a settling, a quieting, as if your own inner chaos is being organized by the perfect harmony of what you see before you. The stress and noise of modern life begin to fade, replaced by something older, deeper, more true. The ancient peace of this place seeps into your bones, into your very cells, offering healing you didn't even know you needed. And still you stand, rooted to the spot by wonder. As the sun climbs higher and the shadows shift and dance across the stone terraces, feeling yourself becoming part of this timeless scene, part of the endless procession of souls who have stood here and been transformed by beauty, by the perfect marriage of human wisdom and natural wonder, by the profound silence that speaks more eloquently than any words ever could. Chapter 3: Terraces beneath the moonlight, as the sun disappears behind the western peaks, painting the sky in shades of rose and lavender. You find yourself drawn deeper into the heart of Machu Picchu. The stone pathways seem to glow with their own inner light now, as if they've absorbed the warmth of the day and are slowly releasing it back into the cooling mountain air. You choose one of the narrower terraces, a series of stone steps that cascade down the mountainside like a frozen waterfall. Each level is perfectly proportioned, wide enough for contemplation, narrow enough for intimacy. The ancient builders understood something profound about the human need for spaces that embrace rather than overwhelm, that invite rather than intimidate. As you settle onto the warm stones of a middle terrace, you feel the solid presence of the mountain beneath you, supporting you, cradling you like a cosmic lap. The stone retains the heat of the day, warming your body as the evening air begins to cool, creating a perfect balance of temperature that seems designed for exactly this moment. This act of quiet communion with the ancient world. Above you, the first stars begin to appear in the darkening sky. Tentative at first, then with growing confidence as the last light fades from the western horizon. The Southern Cross appears, bright and clear in the thin mountain air, along with constellations that the Inca astronomers knew by heart, read like a cosmic calendar, used to time their plantings and ceremonies and sacred observances. The moon rises slowly over the eastern peaks, full and luminous, casting everything in silver light that transforms the familiar into the magical. The stone terraces become rivers of moonlight, flowing down the mountainside in perfect curves. The grass between the stones glows with an ethereal radiance, and the walls of the ancient buildings seem to shimmer like mirages made solid. In this moonlight, you can almost see the terraces as they once were, filled with carefully tended crops, corn and potatoes and quinoa growing in perfect rows, tended by hands that understood the sacred relationship between human cultivation and natural cycles. The ancient farmers who worked these terraces knew that agriculture was not just about producing food, but about participating in the cosmic dance of growth and harvest, death and renewal. A gentle night breeze stirs across the terraces, carrying with it the scent of mountain flowers and the cool breath of snow-capped peaks. The air is so pure here, so clean, that each breath feels like a blessing, like drinking from some celestial spring. You close your eyes and let this pristine air fill your lungs, feeling it cleans and refresh you from the inside out. The silence is extraordinary, not the empty silence of abandoned places, but the full silence of deep peace. It's as if the very stones are meditating, as if the entire mountain is engaged in some vast cosmic prayer. You become part of this silence, letting your own thoughts settle like sediment in still water, allowing your mind to become as clear and peaceful as the moonlit terraces around you all. When you open your eyes again, the world has been transformed by moonlight into something even more magical. The familiar stone walls now seem to pulse with gentle energy, breathing in rhythm with the mountain itself. The shadows between the terraces have become pools of liquid darkness, mysterious and inviting, full of secrets whispered by the night wind. You shift slightly on your stone seat, feeling how perfectly your body fits into this ancient space. The dimensions of the terrace are human, scaled, designed for people to sit exactly as you're sitting now, or to contemplate exactly what you're contemplating, to feel exactly what you're feeling. The builders of this place understood the human soul, knew what it needed for healing, for peace, for connection with the divine. Far below, in the depths of the sacred valley, you can see tiny lights, like fallen stars, marking small villages where people still live much as their ancestors did, still plant by the cycles of the moon, still honor the ancient ways of working with the earth rather than against it. These lights remind you that you're not just visiting a dead monument, but a living part of an unbroken chain of human wisdom. The moon climbs higher, directly overhead now, bathing everything in its cool radiance. Under this light, the entire city seems to come alive, not with the bustle of daily activity, but with something deeper, older, the eternal life that flows through all things. The stones seem to breathe, the terraces seem to pulse, the very air seems to shimmer with invisible presence due. You lie back on the warm stone, using one of the terrace walls as a pillow, and gaze up at the star-filled sky. From this position, cradled by the ancient stones, you feel like you're floating between earth and heaven, held in perfect balance by forces you can't name but can deeply feel. The stone beneath you is solid and reassuring, while the infinite sky above fills you with wonder and expansion. The constellations wheel slowly overhead, following the same paths they've traced for millennia. The same stars the Inca priests watched, the same celestial dance that guided their ceremonies and marked their seasons. You feel connected to this ancient astronomical wisdom, part of the same cosmic story that has been unfolding since humans first looked up at the night sky and wondered about their place in the vast scheme of things. A shooting star streaks across the sky, a brief, brilliant line of light that appears and vanishes in the space of a heartbeat. In the Andean tradition, such meteors are messages from the ancestors, blessings sent from the spirit world to those who are ready to receive them. You make a wish on this celestial gift, not for anything material, but for the preservation of this peace, your feelings, this sense of connection to something infinitely larger than yourself. The night air carries sounds now that were hidden during the day. The soft hoot of an Andean owl, the rustle of small creatures moving through the grass, the distant whisper of wind through the mountain passes. These sounds don't disturb the silence. They enhance it. Add depth and texture to the piece, like individual instruments contributing to a vast nocturnal symphony. You realize that time has become fluid here. Minutes might be passing, or hours. It doesn't matter. This is a place outside of ordinary time. Son, where the pressures and schedules of modern life have no meaning. Where the only clock is the slow wheel of stars overhead. The only deadline is the eventual return of dawn. This freedom from time is itself healing, allowing your nervous system to remember rhythms older than civilization. The stone terrace beneath you seems to pulse with the heartbeat of the earth itself. A slow, steady rhythm that gradually synchronizes with your own pulse, your own breathing. You feel yourself becoming part of the mountain's meditation, part of its ancient practice of simply being, of existing in perfect harmony with the cosmic forces that shape all things. As you lie there, cradled by stone and bathed in moonlight, you understand something that can't be put into words. Something about the relationship between human consciousness and the natural world. About the way certain places can heal what modern life has broken, can restore what we didn't even know we'd lost. This is such a place, a sanctuary, not just for the body, but for the soul. The moon continues its slow journey across the star-filled sky, casting ever-changing patterns of light and shadow across the terraces, creating a subtle, ever-shifting mandala of beauty that hypnotizes and soothes. Your eyes grow heavy as you watch this cosmic dance, feeling yourself drifting toward sleep while remaining fully present to the magic of this moment. And in this state between waking and sleeping, between thought and pure being, you rest among the ancient stones of Machu Picchu, held by the mountain, blessed by the moon, surrounded by the infinite silence that connects all things, feeling more at peace than you ever imagined possible, knowing that this feeling, this connection, this profound sense of being home in the universe is something you'll carry with you always. The terraces stretch away in all directions, silver rivers in the moonlight, each one a perfect meditation on the marriage of human wisdom and natural beauty. And you, resting here among them, become part of their eternal story, part of the endless dream of stone and star and mountain silence. Chapter 14 Echoes of the Incas. In the deepest part of the night, when the moon has traveled far across the star-scattered sky, you find yourself moving through the ancient city like a whisper made flesh. Your footsteps make no sound on the worn stone pathways, as if the very air has become thick with reverence, thick with the accumulated prayers of centuries. The wind that moves through these ruins tonight carries something more than just the scent of mountain flowers and highland air. It carries voices, not heard but felt, echoes of a civilization that understood the sacred nature of this place, that built their city not to conquer the mountain, but to participate in its eternal meditation. You pause at the entrance to what was once the Temple of the Sun, its curved walls still perfect after 500 years, still following the contours of the sacred rock beneath. In the moonlight, these walls seem almost translucent, as if you could see through them to the ceremonies that once took place here. The solstice celebrations, the offerings to Inti, the sun god who painted these peaks, gold every morning. As you step inside this sacred space, you feel a shift in the energy around you, a deepening of the silence, a sense of crossing from the ordinary world into something consecrated, something set apart. The circular wall embraces you like cupped hands, holding you in a space designed for communion with the divine, for recognition of the sacred forces that move through all things. The window in the eastern wall frames a perfect view of the brightening horizon, where in just a few hours the sun will rise and send its first rays streaming through this opening, illuminating the golden altar stone that still waits, patient and eternal, for the return of worshippers who understood light as the visible manifestation of cosmic consciousness. You settle onto the stone floor, feeling how it has been worn smooth by countless knees, countless moments of prayer and meditation. The stone is cool now, but you can sense the warmth it will hold when the sun returns. The way it will glow like molten gold in the morning light, transforming this chamber into a living jewel, a crystalline focus for solar energy and human devotion. In the silence, you begin to hear them, not with your ears, but with something deeper, the voices of the people who once called this place home. The wind carries fragments of their presence, glimpses of daily life that once filled these now empty spaces with laughter and work and worship. Children playing in the courtyards, women grinding corn in the morning light, priests chanting the old prayers that kept the world in balance. You can almost see the ceremonies, feel the collective breath of the community, gathered for the Inti Raymi, the festival of the sun, when the entire city would become a single organism, breathing in unison, moving in sacred patterns that honored the cosmic forces that governed their lives. These people understood something we have forgotten, that human life is most meaningful when it participates consciously in the greater rhythms of the universe. The wind shifts, bringing new voices, new glimpses of the past. You sense the astronomers who mapped the movements of stars from these very terraces, who understood that the dance of celestial bodies was not just decoration for the night sky, but a cosmic script that could be read, interpreted, used to guide the timing of plantings and harvests, of ceremonies and celebrations. Their knowledge was not written in books, but carved in stone, built into the very architecture of the city. Every alignment, every angle, every carefully positioned window and doorway contains information about the relationship between earth and sky, between human consciousness and cosmic intelligence. Or this entire city is a three-dimensional textbook, a university of stone where the curriculum was the sacred science of living in harmony with natural law. You move deeper into the temple, to where a natural rock formation rises from the floor like an altar grown from the living mountain. This is the Intihuatana stone, the hitching post of the sun, carved with such precision that it functions as a cosmic calendar, tracking the sun's journey through the seasons with accuracy that rivals modern instruments. As you place your hands on this ancient sundial, you feel something electric, a current that seems to flow from the stone into your palms, up your arms, into your heart. This is more than just carved rock. It's a focal point for earth energies, a crystalline antenna that receives and transmits frequencies we no longer understand but can still feel in our bones, in our cells, in the deepest parts of our being. The voices grow stronger now, more distinct. You hear the prayers of the sun priests, the chants that welcomed each dawn, the sacred songs that were believed to help the sun in its daily journey across the sky. These people understood that consciousness is not separate from the cosmos, but part of it. That human awareness can participate in the cosmic processes that sustain all life. Through another doorway, in a chamber that once stored the golden artifacts of the sun cult, you sense the presence of the craftsman who shaped metal as if it were clay, who understood that gold was not just valuable but sacred, a earthly reflection of solar energy, a way of capturing and holding the essence of light itself. Their workshops hummed with sacred intention, every hammer blow a prayer, every finished piece an offering to the forces of creation. The wind carries you onward, through courtyards where families once gathered at the end of each day, sharing meals and stories and the quiet satisfactions of work well done. These people lived close to the earth, close to the cycles of planting and harvest, close to the daily miracle of sunrise and the nightly blessing of stars. Their lives were hard by modern standards, but rich in meaning, rich in connection to the sacred dimensions of existence. You pause at what was once a fountain, where sacred spring water still flows through channels carved from solid rock. The sound of water moving through stone is hypnotic, musical, a liquid mantra that has continued unbroken for centuries. This water comes from deep in the mountain, from sources the Incas considered sacred, blessed by its long journey through the earth's body. Cupping your hands, you drink from this ancient source, tasting water that has never known contamination, that carries in its molecular structure the memory of snow-capped peaks and underground rivers, of the sacred springs that the Incas believed were gifts from the Earth Mother herself. Pachamama, the divine feminine principle that nurtures all life. As the water flows through you, you feel a deeper connection to this place, to the people who once lived here, to the ongoing river of human consciousness that flows through sacred sites like this one. You understand that you are not just visiting ruins, but participating in a living tradition, adding your own presence to the accumulation of reverence that makes certain places holy. The voices are all around you now, speaking in languages you don't recognize but somehow understand, telling stories of harmony between human ambition and natural wisdom, of cities built not to dominate the landscape, but to serve it, of civilizations that measured their success not by what they could take from the earth, but by how well they could participate in its sacred rhythms. These echoes don't sadden you with their reminder of loss. Instead, they fill you with hope, with the understanding that such wisdom is not gone, but waiting, sleeping in the stones, ready to awaken in any heart that approaches with sufficient reverence, sufficient openness to the sacred dimensions of existence that these ancient people took for granted. As you continue through the moonlit city, feeling the presence of those who came before, you realize that you are not separate from their story, but part of it, another chapter in the ongoing human quest for harmony with the divine forces that shape our world. Your footsteps join the infinite procession of pilgrims who have walked these paths, seeking not just beauty, but truth, not just wonder, but wisdom. And the wind, the eternal mountain wind, continues to carry their voices, their teachings, their understanding that we are not masters of this earth, but participants in its sacred dreaming. Students in the cosmic school, where every sunrise is a lesson, every star a teacher, every stone a repository of ancient knowledge waiting to be remembered. Chapter 5. These stars, above the sacred valley, as the darkest hour before dawn settles over Machu Picchu. You find yourself drawn to the highest terrace, the point where the ancient city reaches closest to the infinite canopy of stars. The stone pathway leads you upward, each step bringing you nearer to the cosmic cathedral that arches overhead, glittering with the light of distant suns. Here, at the apex of this sacred mountain, you settle onto stones that have been worn smooth by centuries of pilgrims, seekers, astronomers, and priests who came to this exact spot to commune with the celestial powers that govern all existence. The stone beneath you is cool now, having released the last of the day's warmth to the night air. But there's comfort in its solidity, its patient endurance, its willingness to support generation after generation of wonder seekers above you. The Milky Way streams across the sky like a river of diamonds, so bright in the thin mountain air that it seems you could reach up and trail your fingers through its luminous currents. The ancient Andean astronomers called this celestial river the Mayu, and saw in its flowing patterns the same life-giving forces that moved through the earthly rivers of their valleys. The Southern Cross hangs directly overhead, its 4 bright stars forming a perfect celestial compass, pointing the way to the cosmic south, to the center of the turning sky. The Inca navigators used this constellation to guide their journeys, not just across physical distances, but through the spiritual dimensions of existence. Understanding that the same patterns that govern the movement of stars also guide the evolution of human consciousness. As you lie back on the ancient stones, using your hands as a pillow, the entire universe seems to rotate slowly above you, a vast meditation wheel turning through its eternal cycles. You feel yourself becoming part of this cosmic rotation, your own consciousness expanding to match the scale of what you're witnessing, your individual awareness dissolving into the infinite awareness that permeates all space. The silence here is so complete that you can hear your own heartbeat, your own breathing, the soft whisper of blood moving through your veins. These intimate sounds become part of the cosmic symphony, your body's rhythms harmonizing with the vast pulsing of galaxies, with the slow dance of planets, with the nuclear fires that burn in the hearts of distant stars. A meteor streaks across the sky, a brief visitor from the deep reaches of space, its sudden flare of light reminding you that you're witnessing not a static display, but a dynamic, ever-changing cosmic dance. The ancient sky watchers who studied from this very spot understood that the heavens were alive, full of meaning and message, a vast book written in light and motion across the darkness of infinite space. You begin to understand why the Incas built their city here, at this precise altitude, at this exact relationship to the surrounding peaks. From this vantage point, the entire sacred valley spreads below like a cosmic map, the river winding through it like the earthly reflection of the Milky Way, the peaks forming natural alignments with significant stars and constellations. This is not just a city, but an observatory, a place designed for studying the sacred science of cosmic correspondence. The air at this altitude is so pure, so crystalline, that the stars seem close enough to touch. Each point of light burns with perfect clarity, unmarred by the atmospheric distortion that veils the heavens from lower elevations. You feel as if you're seeing the universe as it truly is, in all its naked glory, all its infinite mystery and beauty. As you continue to gaze upward, patterns begin to emerge, connections between seemingly separate stars, stories written in stellar fire across the cosmic darkness. The ancient astronomers who worked from this site could read these patterns like text, could see in the slow procession of constellations the great cycles of cosmic time, the vast rhythms that govern everything from the smallest seed sprouting in mountain soil to the birth and death of galaxies. Your breathing becomes slower, deeper. Synchronized with some cosmic rhythm you can feel but cannot name, each inhalation draws in not just mountain air, but starlight itself. The actual photons that have traveled millions of years through space to reach your lungs, to become part of your body, part of your being. You are literally breathing the cosmos, incorporating the light of distant suns into your very cells. The temperature begins to drop as the night reaches its deepest hour. But you feel no cold, only a perfect balance. As if the stones beneath you are sharing their ancient warmth, as if the stars above are sending down streams of cosmic fire to keep you comfortable in this high place, this sacred observatory, where earth reaches up to touch the infinite. A gentle wind stirs across the terraces, carrying with it the scent of night, blooming flowers, of dew forming on mountain grasses, of the clean, sharp smell of air that has blown across glaciers and snow fields. This wind has traveled from the very roof of the world, from peaks so high that they scrape the bottom of space itself, and now it caresses your face like a blessing from the mountain gods. You close your eyes for a moment, and in the darkness behind your eyelids, you can still see the stars, burned into your retinas like sacred tattoos, like permanent reminders of this moment when you lay beneath the infinite sky and felt your own infinite nature awakening. When you open your eyes again, the stars seem even brighter, even more alive, pulsing with the same life force that flows through your own veins. the Andean condor, sacred bird of the high peaks, calls somewhere in the darkness. Its cry echoes off the stone walls of the ancient city, off the cliff faces of the surrounding mountains, creating a sound that seems to come from the earth itself, from the very spirit of this place. These magnificent birds were revered by the Incas as messengers between the earthly and celestial realms, creatures who could soar high enough to carry prayers to the sun. As you lie there, cradled by stone and blessed by starlight, you feel your own spirit beginning to soar, to lift away from the concerns and complications of ordinary life, to rise into the clear mountain air where perspective shifts, where problems that seemed overwhelming become manageable, where the beauty and meaning of existence become impossible to deny. The stars wheel overhead in their ancient patterns, the same constellations that have watched over this sacred valley for millennia, that witness the rise of the Inca civilization, that saw the Spanish conquest, that observed the long centuries when this city lay hidden in cloud and forest, waiting for the right moment to reveal itself again to the world. You realize that you are witnessing something eternal, something that connects you not just to the ancient people who built this place, but to every human being who has ever looked up at the night sky and felt wonder, felt that sense of belonging to something infinitely larger than themselves. This is the birthright of human consciousness, this capacity for cosmic awareness, this ability to recognize our place in the vast scheme of creation. The silence deepens, becomes so profound that it seems to have weight, substance, becoming not the absence of sound, but the presence of peace. The kind of silence that exists in the spaces between heartbeats, between thoughts, between breaths, the silence that is always there, waiting beneath the noise of daily life, ready to embrace us when we remember how to listen. Your body begins to feel weightless, as if the boundary between your physical form and the space around you is dissolving. You are becoming part of the mountain, part of the night air, part of the starlight that bathes everything in silver radiance. This is not a loss of self, but an expansion of self, a remembering of your true nature as a conscious being temporarily inhabiting a human form. The eastern horizon begins to show the faintest suggestion of light, not yet dawn, but the promise of dawn, the subtle softening of darkness that announces the earth's slow turn toward another day. But this approaching light doesn't diminish the stars. Instead, it seems to make them more precious, more beautiful in their temporary reign over the night sky. You feel overwhelmed with gratitude, not just for this moment, this place, this incredible beauty, but for the simple fact of being alive, of being conscious, of being able to witness and appreciate the miracle of existence. The ancient people who built this city understood this gratitude due, built it into the very stones, created a place where the natural response to beauty is prayer, where wonder becomes worship. A shooting star crosses the sky, then another, as if the cosmos is celebrating your presence here, acknowledging your participation in this ancient ritual of sky, watching, star, wondering. These brief streaks of light remind you that you too are a temporary visitor in this vast space, a brief flare of consciousness in the cosmic darkness. But what a magnificent flare! What a beautiful brief moment of awareness in the infinite dance of creation. The mountain wind carries new scents now, the smell of dew beginning to form, of plants preparing for the return of the sun, of the earth itself breathing in the cool night air and preparing to exhale the warmth of another day. These are the scents of transition, of the eternal cycle of rest and activity, of the cosmic rhythm that governs all life. As you continue to rest on these ancient stones, feeling the solid presence of the mountain beneath you and the infinite expanse of space above, you understand that you are exactly where you need to be, exactly when you need to be here, part of a story that began with the first human being who looked up at the stars and wondered, part of a chain of consciousness that stretches from the earliest astronomers to the farthest future, part of the universe coming to know itself through your awareness. Your breathing becomes so slow, so peaceful, that you seem to be breathing with the mountain itself, with the slow tidal rhythms of the earth, with the vast respiratory cycles of the cosmos. Each breath connects you more deeply to this place, to this moment, to the eternal now that contains all moments, all places, all possibilities. The stars continue their slow procession overhead, patient teachers in the cosmic classroom, reminders that time is vast, that perspective is everything, that what seems urgent and critical from the ground level of daily life becomes peaceful and manageable when viewed from the long perspective of stellar time, cosmic time, the time scale on which mountains rise and fall, on which species evolve, on which consciousness itself unfolds its infinite potential. And here, in this sacred place where ancient wisdom meets eternal sky, where human consciousness reaches up to touch the infinite, you rest in perfect peace, perfect harmony with the cosmic forces that have shaped this mountain, this city, this moment of perfect communion between earth and heaven, knowing that this peace, this connection, this sense of being home in the universe is not something you have found, but something you have remembered, not something external, but something that has always been, waiting in the depths of your own being, as constant and eternal as the stars themselves. The night wind whispers across the terraces, carrying with it the breath of eternity, the promise that this peace will always be available, always waiting here in this sacred place where the earth reaches up to embrace the sky, where human consciousness recognizes its own cosmic nature, where the boundary between self and universe dissolves into the infinite silence that connects all things. And as your eyes grow heavy with the peaceful weight of cosmic communion, as your breathing slows to match the eternal rhythms of mountain and star, you rest here in perfect trust, perfect peace, held by the ancient stones, blessed by the infinite sky, cradled in the arms of the sacred valley, knowing that you are home, that you have always been home in this vast and beautiful cosmos that dreams itself into existence through consciousness like yours, through moments of wonder like this, through the eternal dance of awareness awakening to its own infinite nature. The stars continue their silent vigil overhead. The mountain continues its patient meditation, and you, resting here between earth and heaven, become part of their eternal song, part of the cosmic symphony that plays in the silence between heartbeats, in the space between thoughts, in the infinite peace that is always here, always now, always home.